Hi, Natalie. Alex from The Upcoming.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well,
Nice to meet
thank
you.
you. So, talk to us a little bit. I know you've already previously have, but what makes Ferrari so iconic today and in the past as well?
Ferrari is just this ubiquitous brand. They've done so well with merchandising. It's so crazy that anywhere I go in the world, I see Ferrari. You don't get that with any other F1 brand, and it seems to sort of transcend all elements of the sport. You know, if as a kid growing up, you dream of owning a Ferrari one day, but pretty much every F1 driver I've ever interviewed has always told me that they'd love to drive a Ferrari at some stage in their career. There's just this magic about the brand.
Did you have an opinion of Enzo Ferrari prior to hearing about this documentary and everything?
Well, obviously I've never met him, but I've heard rumours that he's something of a dictator, that he's this very strong character. But he's done something right, because here we are, all these decades on, talking about the strength of Ferrari as a household name, and. When you go over to the Italian Grand Prix, there's just this unbelievable atmosphere. The Tifosi are crazy about Formula One, and that, in no small part, is down to Ferrari. I mean, many would say Ferrari's bigger than F1 itself, which you can never imagine F1 without Ferrari, put it that way.
In terms of people saying that this was the golden age of motorsports, would you agree with that?
I think there was... Bravery was a prerequisite at that stage. I mean, I still think all the drivers are very brave now for the speeds they go and the skill that's required to drive an F1 car. That's never changed. It's the application of it has evolved, because obviously you need to do certain things differently. But I always think that Formula One drivers are incredibly brave. But back then, to be dicing with death week in, week out, never knowing if you were actually going to see the checkered flag, because it is and was so dangerous for them. Then yes, golden era, I'm not sure about the word golden, because there was this real deep, profound sense of sadness as well about that era. And if you talk to someone like Sir Jackie Stewart, he will always tell you that he reflects on it with a really heavy heart. But, there's certainly a sense of romance, nostalgia, and I think really the reason why so many people do watch motorsport is that sense of jeopardy. And that would have been heightened, to an unbelievable degree back then.
And speaking of today then, do you think there's a driver today that really embodies potentially the spirit of these maverick figures?
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, we've done a whole series on Sky F1 about mavericks in the sport, and the two current drivers who kind of got picked out for that were Kimi Räikkönen and Fernando Alonso. They were both sort of seen as bucking the trend ever so slightly in the decisions they've made, good and bad, but just being their own people in this crazy world of F1. So I think in terms of skill, and determination, there's plenty of them up and down the grid. Lewis Hamilton's obviously just won his 4th world title, making him the most successful British driver of all time, and he's only 32 years old, so I think we should be immensely proud of him. He's certainly very brave and a great role model in that respect.
Do you have any opinions on how the F1 season's going so far?
I mean, I've absolutely loved it. To see the rivalry be reignited between Mercedes and Ferrari, I think it's so crucial for the sport, and I don't think there's a fan out there that doesn't want to see Ferrari do well. Whether you support them or not, just to see that flash of red, coming through the grid is so important. It's iconic.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you.
Bye.